Broadcasting, the boisterous part of the fastest game in the world. So strap on your lids and lace them up, Rook. You're listening to the Barn Chirpers Hockey Podcast. Take a lap. Clap it up, boys. Clap it up. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Barn Chirpers. Hey, it's 2023, so if you're hearing us or watching us, you know what to do if you want to hear more of us. Do the things, the subscribes, and all that. You know how to do it. It's 2023. What are we doing? You know what I mean? Captain, that is a beautiful Gabe Vilardi Winnipeg Jets jersey. Speaking of, Gabe Vilardi killing it recently in the NHL over the last 5 games. He has like 5 goals, 9 points. Killing it. So great time that you wear your sweater of Gabe
Had
Vilardi.
to. Last time I wore it was right after the Devs lost to them. So
yeah, so at least in this aspect, the reason why you're wearing it is a good reason because our boys doing well. Boys
yes,
doing well
indeed.
up there in Winnipeg. We always have a great show. We are going to do a little something different today, folks listening, watching. We're going to do a little player draft today. I'll go over that when we get there. But first, everybody's favorite game, the sweater game, because we have, I don't know, 3 or more weeks after this. I forget how many sweaters. I just have sweaters just coming
forever.
all the time, just forever. Captain, I'm going to give you one hint so that we don't waste a question.
Okay.
The rest of the sweaters that I have are in the West. So
okay.
You can clear that question out from the game because you already will know that they're all in the West. So
all right.
So let's play the sweater game, man. You already know that it's in the West. Let's hear it. What's that first question? I'm ready and waiting.
I'm going here first because I am shocked that so far on the sweater game it hasn't happened. Is it attendee?
It is attendee. Hot.
Haha. Okay, so it's a Western Conference attendee. Is it a throwback?
Cold.
Okay, so it's a current attendee. All right, so current attendee in the Western Conference. Current attendee in the Western Conference. Shoot. Where can I narrow it down? Division, or is it a coastal team?
Cold.
Okay. Shoot. So, I don't think it's this one. All right. I threw this one out as a guess last go around. He's one of your favorites ever. Is it Flower?
You're dang right. It's Flower. Number 3 all-time goaltender with 549 wins, just 2 away from tying Patrick Waugh. The Flower, the home Minnesota Wild, number 29, Marc-Andre Fleury. I got to give the guy his flowers. Slowly, not even slowly, but yeah, we've talked about it for a while. Like, he's really, the more I think about it, like, I love that dude. I don't even know this guy. I hated him when he was a Pittsburgh Penguin, but I respect him for how long he's played, how good he's been on some bad teams and some really good teams. And he always just seems to come through, even though he's had his ups and downs recently just with his playing. But I don't necessarily blame him. I blame the teams that have been in front of him as well. He's easily, arguably, greatest of all time. And I talked about that on an after the fact cheap plug for Deprogrammed and Oh Hi Justin Patreon, by the way. So take it away from there while I put this on.
So you talk about we don't even know Flower at all. I don't know if we've told this story, and I'll kind of rehash it once we have Joe back. But Flower a couple months ago actually sent it. Well, he didn't send a video message to our friend Tina, but he recorded one. Somebody saw him out bowling and said, "Hey, it's my friend Tina's birthday. Can you say hello to them?" And our man Flower recorded a video message saying happy birthday to our friend Tina, which to me, like, he didn't have to do that.
No, that's a good dude. Such a good dude.
Just out and about bowling.
I'm sure he probably could have got like $150 or $300 off a Cameo or whatever it is, but he's just like, yeah, man. Hey, happy birthday, Tina. You know, so like, such a good dude, just across the board, such a good dude. And like I said, he just got his 549th win, which puts him 2 away from second all time, underneath Patrick Waugh for all time best tendy. And your boy Martin Brodeur, I mean, not. I guess he is kind of far away at 691 wins. Flower would need a couple more seasons to even get close to that. But is it possible? It's possible. But I mean, I do hope he gets 3 more wins at least, which I feel like he will, just to put Patrick Waugh at 3, because I hated the Colorado Avalanche growing up.
Well, also because Flower deserves some flowers. Like you don't hear a lot of people putting him up in that upper echelon of goalies, and I think it's high time. It's high time we stop that. Like let's put a stop to that. He should be in the conversation somewhere. It's fine if you don't have him top 5. It's fine if you don't have him, top 2 or whatever. But he needs to be in the conversation somewhere, and his name has to come up. Maybe it's because he's still current.
Could be. I mean, he's won 3 cups. So if we're excluding, the times of just the original 6 when Montreal won like 30 championships, I mean, if we're talking about, I would even say, this is a side conversation that wasn't really on the list, but personally, I would say from about 85 on, look at all those goaltenders. Fleury is, again, arguably top 1 or 2 all time for just championships, having 3. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, that's my take on that.
Well, not to belabor the point, but Marty's got 3, and he is, to some, me included, inarguably top ever.
Yeah. So, well, the wins prove it too. 691 wins. So
yeah,
and 3 cups.
So there you have it.
Anyways, so yeah, like I said, I got a couple more sweaters in the closet there that will be. I wish my camera's weird, so this hangs. I'm a tall guy, so on double X, I don't really get to have the logo in there. Maybe I'll just hold it up. I'll pin it up the whole episode so everybody watching can see it. But anyway, okay.
Before we move on, one thing I want to say about Minnesota sweaters, I do like. I'm glad you got it, because I've been on the fence about their home sweaters. They're one of the few teams where I actually like the away sweater better, the white away. But seeing it, I mean, again, it's on camera, but like seeing it in person on a person that I know, kind of that forest green really is leaping out to me. Yeah. So
well, I think even this sleeve, like this cream red stripe on the cream and like dark forest green, it just really pops too. If you're watching on YouTube, it really pops. And I wasn't actually, now that we're talking about it, well, can you see that? Hold on, let me move my mic. The laces on TV, I don't like that, but in person, I'm okay with it. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. So it's quality. It's quality. And again, it's an Adidas sweater. So get your Adidas sweaters while you can, ladies and gentlemen, because again, when Fanatics takes over, they're going to suck. I'm sure. I'm just throwing that out there, and that's me chirping Fanatics, and that's what we do here. We just chirp. So moving on, we're going to get the captain's first line out here. What we're going to do today, we're going to do a little player draft, change it up a little bit from our normal conversation. So the way that this is going to work, just like a typical draft thing, we'll go 1 for 1, and I'm going to go ahead and give captain the first pick, because I mean he's the captain. But what we're going to have is 1 center, and then you can take 2 wings. So it doesn't have to be left or right wing specific. 2 defensemen, a goaltender, and then a utility guy that could be anything. So those are the rules of the player draft. And also something else to make it a little bit more challenging and fun, you can only take a player from the same team. Excuse me, you can only draft from what am I trying to say? You can I can only pick one cap. I can only pick 1 cap. I can't take 3 Capitals players. You know what I'm saying? Right. So so that'll make it a little bit more fun. And we're just going to draft a line here. So captain, go ahead with the first pick.
This is a shock to no one. My center can only be one of 2 guys. I'm gonna go flash here, and I'm going Jackie Hughes. Like, kid is the
Naturally.
future of the league. And my other choice here was Nico Heischer. And I almost went with him, but like if you're going first, absolute first, and you're building a franchise like right now, how do you not take Jackie Hughes? Kid has so much flash, so much upside, and he's only 22. I like and he's missed 7 games and is up towards the top of point leaders in the league.
I was gonna make mention to that. He's missed a handful of games and he's still at the at the top of points getters and goal scorers, I believe. Not only just points, but I believe he's close to top 10 in points or goals. I'm trying to look that up right now because I didn't have it handy, but that's impressive in itself to miss that much time and to still be ranking up there. So solid pick. He's also, that was the other thing I should have looked at. He's also good at the faceoff dot, which is important about winning games, is winning the faceoff, which, there's probably a superstar update here. Pierre-Luc Dubois still sucks at the faceoff center dot. Don't know why he's making $8 million. This is a side superstar check-in. Austin Matthews scores another couple of goals. So maybe he is hearing the show. You're welcome, Austin Matthews, for actually playing to close to your paycheck. Anyway, getting back to it. So I'm going, and listen, this does pain me a little bit, but much like I talked about Flower earlier, over time, I have gained a lot of respect for this player. And this was going to be in the empty net, but he just moved into 13th all time for points. My center, I'm drafting Sidney Crosby. He is still performing at 37 years old. He's still performing at the top of his game, while the other guys on the Penguins just can't seem to figure it out. The Penguins can't seem to figure it out in general, but Sid is doing his part. Still great at the faceoff dot. He's still scoring goals, and he's dishing those apples still at 37. So I'm drafting him. He's my first overall as well. Sidney Crosby for my center.
We didn't really put like a framework to this. So like, as far as, I definitely thought about Sid, and for the same reasons, like it pains me to give a little love to that guy, but he's still doing it at this age and without any kind of like real slowdown. I mean, at some point you got to kind of go, all right, tip my hat to you.
Yeah,
well done.
That's really what it is. Again, I can't stand the Penguins, but when I get to see him play last year in my barn tour, and it was like, yeah, I'm here and I'm watching greatness. I'm truly watching greatness. So he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So, it's kind of like, all right, I'll let my bias go a little bit. So anyway, who's your second pick there, Captain?
All right. So do we want to, we're going to do one wing at a time, right?
Yeah, but you can go however you want to.
Okay. I'm going to go.
And again, it doesn't have to. Okay. It doesn't have to be a left wing specific. It can just be a winger.
Well, I'm going to go with a guy. I think. Okay, no. Then I'm going to go goalie here because I got to get this guy. Again, no, you know what? I'm not going to take the guy maybe you think I'm going to take. I'm going to take a guy, again, it's kind of begrudging respect, even though like he performs, no matter what the boring ass team in front of him does. But he goes out there and he performs and he gets dubs, and single-handedly is keeping the Isles afloat. I'm going with Ilya Sorokin at goalie.
Yeah, you can't deny that. A Vezina candidate puts in Vezina trophy candidate. I wish I could. I podcast. I've been podcasting for 10 plus years. He's one of the best goaltenders in the NHL for many, many years. So that's a solid pick. You can't deny that one. And
he's still young. He's still young. So it's not like, I know, we're not drafting for we're kind of drafting for right now, but like it works both ways. Like Sorokin is a good pick for if this was, you know, a keeper league. You know what I mean? Like if I get to
Sure.
keep him for next year too, like it's still a solid pick. So to
For
me,
sure.
it works both ways.
Well, I mean, he's willed the Islanders into, you know, a playoff spot in the Metro this year. I mean, he
Yeah.
willed them into the playoffs, a wild card spot last year. So
Mhm.
yeah, you can't deny his abilities behind the you know, a boring, crappy team. Not crappy, a boring team that doesn't score goals.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. I need, you know, I drafted Sid, so there's going to be some goals scored there. There's going to be some apples dished, no matter who I pick in my wingers. And the guys that I'm thinking of, I don't think you have on your list. So I'm going to go with this guy because this guy has been on 2 cup winning teams in the last 5 years. He is a defensive defenseman who can also score some goals. He lays some big old hits. Not only that, he is a veteran presence. I'm going with Alex Pietrangelo.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Definitely didn't see that one coming. No, I do not have that guy on my list.
He 2019 on that St. Louis Blues team that was from last to best, winning that cup, goes over to Vegas Golden Knights. He was just on their cup winning team. Again, been around for a while. He generally a puck moving defensive defenseman, but will throw a big old hit, change the momentum of a game, and he does run first power play with Vegas right now, or he has been on first power play for Vegas primarily. So he can get it done as the crew member, captain of a power play unit too. So got to get somebody with some defense on my squad.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna go with a winger here. I'm gonna take one of these Kachucks. I'm gonna take Brady.
Okay.
Because I don't have any other sends here, so like it's a pretty safe pick. I'm going to take Brady Tkachuk again. Like he's a physical player. He a little bit of a mind game. He's a scorer. You know, the one thing that I'll note about Jack Hughes that has really reared its ugly head over the last week is he can't stay calm. Like people have really gotten in his head the last, you know, the Anaheim game specifically and Philly last night, really just getting to him. And we don't have anybody to stand up for him. Well, Brady Tkachuk, he's not afraid to be physical. He's not afraid to throw him. And he can get some points on the board. So Brady Tkachuk, it is.
Yeah, that's a solid pick. I mean, everything you just said. We like Matty Tkachuk on this show. Obviously, he's shown up big time in the playoffs last year. But truly, you know, I do think Brady in this aspect of this draft that we're doing is a better pick because, like you said, he's going to throw hands. He's going to throw a big hit. He's going to protect his guys, but also he's really talented and can score some goals. So that is a solid pick to pick up Brady Tkachuk there. You definitely went with the right Tkachuk brother in this case. Not that we don't like Matty. I like Matty Tkachuk as well. Don't get it twisted. Okay. Well, since you can't take another goalie, I'm just going to save that one till the end. So I am going to who do I want? Man. Okay. I am going to take this guy, and I mean, what else can I say? I mean, he's killing it right now. He's leading this team, even though they're not doing that great, but he's keeping them around in the Atlantic. Leading the NHL right now with 54 points, Nikita Kucherov, former Stanley Cup winner as well. He veteran presence, knows how to win a cup, knows how to get the job done, going to score some goals. Sidney Crosby dishing to Nikita Kucherov, game over. 9 out of 10 times.
Well, begrudgingly, you know, like I begrudgingly give respect to anybody on Tampa because I hate their guts. But, you know, credit where credit's due. Like they're they've been a really good team for a really long time, and Kucherov is definitely part of it. And yeah, my other wing, I can't, maybe it feels like a gimme. He's a little bit of a utility. Oh, he's a little bit of a utility, but because he can play the center as well. He's arguably the second best player in the league, even though it isn't exactly panning out this week. I'm going with Leon Draisaitl, which completes my my forwards are Leon Draisaitl, Brady Tkachuk, Jack Hughes. I like that line a lot. Like, there's a lot of dishing going on.
That's
Draisaitl.
That's scary.
Draisaitl can dish. Draisaitl can score. He's not exactly small. He's not exactly physical, but like he can be. I think he was
a little physical in the playoffs versus that LA series. He was throwing some hits. He's I wouldn't necessarily say he's a big guy either, like you said, but he's got some weight behind him. I think he's over 200 pounds, 215 maybe. Nah, maybe 210, probably 210. So he can throw his body around. So that's a solid pick.
I don't think he quarterbacks the power play, but I know he's on it, and Edmonton's power play is sick. So you got Jack Hughes and Draisaitl on the same power play. That's insanity.
That is insanity. So you're taking him on your other wing or utility?
Other wing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, man. That's a heavy hit. Do I want? This is where the gameplay comes in a little bit, because I have this guy I want to take on the wing in case you take him for your utility. Okay, I got to go with it. I'm putting him in the utility position because technically he's a center. And dude has also won a Stanley Cup. He has led this team to victory without the main guy on the roster, on the squad. He consistently puts up near or over 100 points every single season. It's Nathan MacKinnon, Mack Truck. He can also throw the body. He laid out Jeff Skinner the other day, like such a clean hit, but he literally like went through Jeff Skinner. And I like Jeff Skinner, but Nathan MacKinnon made him look like a baby, truly, like a little teeny tiny baby that weighs 5 pounds, because Mack trucked him.
I like it. I definitely eyeballed him. I didn't have him at my utility, but yeah, like, I mean, anytime you can get a MacKinnon this late in a draft, like that's a big win.
I had to take him now because I thought that you might take him. So I had to.
I'm going to take a D-man here. And again, a little bit of a surprise. He rocks the Winnipeg Jets sweater. The Winnipeg Jets defense has been really good this season. And this guy's a big part of it. I'm going with Josh Morrissey. Big dude. He puts down some hits.
Good pick.
He's not afraid to get involved in the offense, but not so much so that he can't stay home. I like the way Morrissey plays. And I mean, again, I got him on fantasy, which is why like kind of he's on my periph. But Josh Morrissey, welcome to the team, sir.
No, it's a good pick. I mean, like you said, Jets defense is pretty shored up this season. Matter of fact, in the last 10, they are 6-3-1. So they have definitely, I mean, we seem to talk about them every week now also of being surprising to us. And last year, Morrissey, I mean, last year was an interesting year, I guess I would say, for the Jets, but Morrissey was the leading scorer last year on the blue line. So that's saying something as well. I think he had, I don't have the stat in front of me, but he had over 50 assists, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to double check that. You can chirp at us if I'm wrong for not checking the stats. But either way, solid pick. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that Josh Morrissey pick for sure. Okay. I'm going to get my other winger here. This guy is clutch. He's also potentially always a pain in the butt to play against. He rides on the line of being dirty, definitely 100%. But I think you also need that guy too to get under people's skin. Again, veteran presence, been around for a long time. Also has won a Stanley Cup. I'm going with Brad Marchand.
Ooh, yuck. I get it though. Yeah. Just a
it's
very
gross. It's
punchable
gross.
face.
It's gross, but you know what? A guy that if he could literally, if we had a 10 game, or excuse me, if we had a 7 game series, and at least 2 of those games, he's going to come up with a clutch goal for me. So as ratty as he is, I need that clutch performance. Brad Marchand, welcome to the club. You get a sweater.
You get a sweater, sir. I think my utility guy's safe then. So I'll draft my other D man. You know me, man. Like I like to go. He's not having a great year. The team isn't having a great year. I have his sweater. I love the man dearly. Rasmus Dahlin at my other D spot. Again, I'm kind of drafting for potential here, but like if you put him on this line, like I think he performs rather well. You put him in front of Sorokin. Like I think paired with a top pair of Morrissey and Dahlin, that's a pretty solid top pair of D. But you have a guy who stays more at home with Morrissey. You have a guy like Dahlin who can kind of be out and about and hopefully score some goals and maybe get some apples, be a little bit more involved in the offense. So Dahlin.
Yeah, no, you mentioned, Morrissey being a stay-at-home, but really both guys for your blue line there could do both. They could stay at home while the other one goes up in the rush and tries to make a play. And I do think your Tendy being Sorokin, that would really give Dahlin specifically reason to get up in the rush and be confident that Morrissey can watch his back. If I'm Dahlin, like, okay, I know Morrissey's back there to watch my back. I can go up in this rush and try to make a play because not only does Morrissey got me, but Sorokin's got me too. And I think if we're, kind of chirping Buffalo here right now, while, hey, we've talked up 6K before, love the potential there. Devin Levi, love the potential there. Even Eric Comrie, like, love the potential there. But all 3 of those guys I just mentioned, if I'm Rasmus Dahlin, I don't really trust that I can get up in the rush and go make a play because nobody's watching my back. And I'm going to get that -1 because if somebody gets away from me, it's 50-50 game over, scoring a goal. So I really like your pick there, both blue line guys. That's a solid pick. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Tendy here. I've already talked him up all day this episode for 28 minutes. I'm going with the man, the myth, the legend, Flower. I'm Marc-Andre Fleury, guarding my net. Again, 3 Stanley Cups, going to be second all-time best goaltender. How could I go wrong? Truly. You put this team in front of him, he's getting a shutout 2 out of 10 times.
Which is, that's killer odds. He's not having a great year, but like a lot of that is Minnesota's just now coming around. So, and some of that is Gus is on a tear. So, like,
well, and just Minnesota playing better overall. Like, since the coaching change, they're night and day, a different team, completely different team. Same players on that team. Literally, it's just behind the bench, which is, I know we talked about it when it happened. Like, is that really going to make a difference? I think I even said like it's not going to make a difference, and I didn't believe in the Minnesota Wild. I think my words were exactly that. I hope that they turn it around, but I don't think it was going to happen. Hey, I love to be wrong. I truly love to be wrong. So since that coaching change, they are killing it. They actually remember how to play defense. They actually score goals. Kirill's actually scoring goals. Thanks, buddy. I sat you the other day. So I love to be proven wrong.
I had Gus as my other pick for goalie. The only reason I did not take Gus is so I could take this man as my utility, and this is like way out there. This is not this may be not be wise, but this guy's a locker room guy. He's a veteran presence. He's a dude that everybody seems to love. He wears a Minnesota Wild sweater. It's Patty Maroon at my utility. I love that.
You
man.
know what? Yeah. You know what? That's a solid pick. Solid pick.
Again, like, I don't know if he's necessarily going to get points on the board. He might not necessarily, but like morale, just having that guy in your locker room, it works. And I don't hear people say bad things. That doesn't mean he hasn't done bad things, but I don't hear people saying bad things about Patty Maroon, and he has played for like almost everybody. So yeah, give me a guy like that on coming off the bench, spelling somebody.
Yeah. And, on those Tampa Bay Cup runs, I mean, Patty Maroon was an integral part of that, whether it be throwing a hit. I want to say he scored a couple of clutch goals, but I mean, again, just doing the little hit things, blocking shots, throwing hits. That's, how you win championships. And Pat Maroon was a part of those championship runs. By the way, Pierre-Luc Dubois, that's what you have to do when you can't score goals and you're not skilled enough to score goals. It's blocking shots and throwing hits and, maybe being better than 20% at the faceoff dot. Just saying, buddy. So with my final pick, this is my offensive defenseman. I did have Rasmus Dahlin on the list. I'm going with a guy. You know what? He's been around for a long time. He moves the puck. He throws them hits. He scores goals, and he's a Stanley Cup champion. John Carlson, Washington Capitals. Join us. You're welcome to the squad.
That was your homer guy.
And he's had injury. Yeah, he's had some injuries over the last couple of years that's, slowed down his production. But a couple of years ago, he was a Norris Trophy candidate. He really – I'm not going to say the homer pick of like, oh, we got snubbed. I mean, he just didn't. He didn't do good enough because the Capitals are the Capitals, so he didn't get picked that year. But he's solid, putting up numbers all the time, whether it be assists or goals, running that power play, PP1. So yeah, had to go with it.
I think I've had him every year, but this year in fantasy, and like he was my keeper because I couldn't while he wasn't necessarily tearing the league up, he was doing enough that it's like, well, why would I pick anybody else? Dahlin was my only other thought this coming season, but we ended up not doing keeper. But yeah, man, it sucks he's in Washington as far as I'm a Devs fan. So I hate seeing, you hate to see it, but this is a guy that, he just consistently and solidly involved with Washington. So, and this year, no different.
So I'm curious anybody else that you had on your list that you could have taken had I taken any of your other guys.
So you didn't snipe anybody from me, but I mentioned I had Gus as my backup goalie. I had Anze Kopitar. I was thinking about taking at utility.
So did
Mo Cedar. Yeah. I had Mo Cedar at defense. Again, he's kind of faded away this year, and Detroit's defense has not looked great. But I love that dude. I can't really explain it. And then my young guy pick, I was thinking about taking Paul Mintyukov from Anaheim. I had him on the radar. Alex Tuck from Buffalo, I was looking at, and DeBrincat from Detroit, I was looking at as well.
Okay. That's those are solid. Yeah, I also had Anze Kopitar as a possible center. I also had Mikko Rantanen as a wing, Tyler Toffoli. I had Patty Kane because you can't deny Patty Kane. Drew Doughty, and then the other goaltender I would have picked is Johnny Quick. And again, I built my whole entire roster plus extra picks on how many Stanley Cups they won. So I wanted a full squad of Stanley Cup champions to be on my squad, and that was my tactic going into this player draft. So I don't know. I mean, I think we probably spent a little bit longer on this than we intended to, but it was a good. It was solid. I would love to see, man, if we could do like an NHL and just literally make the roster what we wanted to and do a simulation of 7-game series, that would be super cool.
I feel like we can probably make that happen. But I also think what would be fun for this, and let us know in the comments, or however, get a hold of us on Threads or Instagram, and we can talk about this more off air. It would be fun to build a hockey club, like a line like we just did, with not hockey players, with like other sports, with actors,
sure,
with presidents, just throwing that out there. That would be
that'd
fun.
be awesome. Let us know in the comments. Yeah, with that'd be a lot of fun. All right, so let's get it moving here. The whistle was just called, so we have a power play here to get to. Justin, after a miserable start to the season and continuing in misery, the Ottawa Senators have finally fired DJ Smith the other day, and Jacques Martin has been named the interim head coach, along with Danny Alfredson will serve as an assistant coach. So, Justin, right now the Ottawa Senators sit with 11 wins on the season. We talked about, can they get to 15 wins by the end of the year? So I'm going to give you a couple of pass or shoots here. Number one,
all right,
pass or shoot. Will Jacques Martin and Daniel Alfredson stepping behind the bench, pass or shoot, will that put the Sens on the right track?
I'll shoot. I'll shoot. I think that's going to put them on the right track. That's the way the league has trended this year. You fire your coach, new guy comes in, and you play better. And for where they are right now, it won't take a lot to be trending in the right direction. Are they going to go on a tear? I don't think so. They have the talent to do so. They may just be too far behind. But the question is, do they get on the right track? I think they win more games than they lose, at least for the next, the short interim.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Jacques Martin coached the Canadians. He also, I think, he might have coached Buffalo. I forget. I do think having a new voice behind the bench and also having arguably one of the greatest, definitely in the conversation, Daniel Alfredson was a hell of a NHL hockey player. Having those two voices behind the bench, I think, can definitely turn things around. This is like 5 weeks too late. This should have happened weeks and weeks ago. So your second one here, Justin, the Ottawa Senators are currently sitting in 8th place in the Atlantic and the last place, 16th place in the Eastern Conference. They have 27 games played, so they do have some games in hand. But they are 11, 16, and 0 with 22 points. Pass or shoot, the Ottawa Senators will not make the playoffs.
I'm going to shoot on that. They're not making the playoffs. I mean, look, man, again, this is a situation where we picked them like pretty high. I love the club. I love what they have. That's a lot of ground to cover and not a long. I like you said, I feel like they took too long to make the change. I think they could have got right and possibly made that playoff push 2-3 weeks ago. So many things have to go right and for them, and so many things have to go wrong for so many other teams for that to happen. So I don't like it. I'm shooting that they missed the playoffs.
Yeah, unfortunately, I definitely have to agree with you. I believe the coaching change should have happened after Switzerland. Like, they got 2 points out of a possible 4 in Switzerland. That coaching change should have happened then. And there could be a totally different story right now, because right now, again, they're sitting at 22 points. So they are 13 points out of the second wild card spot right now. 13 points. And they have 6 games in hand. But is this team going to make up, 13 points? So you're telling me they're going to win at least 5 of those games? And with the rest of the East, I mean, at least the Atlantic, like Florida, Toronto, Florida, or excuse me, Boston, Toronto, Florida, they keep winning. Carolina finds ways to win. Tampa Bay finds ways to win. The Islanders and Philly and New York Rangers all finding ways to win. Like I'm agreeing with you. I'm shooting that. I think they're done. I think the Sens are done. There's no chance they're making the playoffs. Again, I would love to be proven wrong, but at this point, even going on a heater right now, there's no chance they're making that up that ground. There's just no chance.
Unfortunately.
So I mentioned that already. We're going to move into our 3 stars of the week. I mentioned him already. I mean, the Tampa Bay Lightning finding ways to win and also finding ways to lose. But this guy who is in a contract year, he wants to stay there in Tampa Bay, but they haven't signed him yet. And they kind of keep telling him like, we're not worrying about it. So Steven Stamkos is the number 3 star this week in 3 games, 5 goals, 3 assists, and 8 total points. He's doing his part. And, Tampa Bay, Vazzy is not Vazzy. And Tampa Bay just can't seem to keep a lead. But Stammer's doing his part. He's trying to make a big old paycheck when it comes this off season. So our number 3 star of the week, Steven Stamkos. And I know you hate it because it's Tampa Bay Lightning. But
yeah, begrudgingly, but yeah, man, like, I don't know. We try to be fair, especially when it comes to the 3 stars. If your typicals, your McKinnons, your Dreisaitl's and McDavid's, if they do what they're supposed to do, and then we put them here. Stammer's one of those guys, like, he's not them, but like he's one of those guys you begrudgingly give a little respect to because he plays for a club that you don't like. But he had a huge week, and despite what Tampa Bay is doing, he's trying to will them to victories. So good on you, Stammer.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, he's trying to get that money at the end of the year, and I cannot hate on that. I respect that fully. Get you a money bag, Steven Stamkos. So since you're wearing his sweater there, Justin, take it away there for the 2nd star of the week.
So I'm with you here. Like when we talked beforehand, a little love to both these cats, the Winnipeg Jets duo of Vilardi and Ehlers, who 3 games played for Winnipeg over the course of the last week. Each has 7 points, 14 points between the 2 of them. I think it's 4 goals, 3 for Vilardi, 3 goals, 4 for Ehlers. So probably dishing to each other, but who cares? They're scoring goals between the 2 of them. 14 points in 3 games it's otherworldly, and it's got the Winnipeg Jets humming. So a little love to them.
Yeah, and like you said I said a few minutes ago, Jets are 6-3-1 right now. They've had a couple of these cycles over the last 10 where they've had winning records. So, and it shows they're still in the hunt. Not even in the hunt. They're in the playoff spot, top 3 in the Central. I mean, they're literally 1 point behind Dallas and Colorado, and technically they have the 2nd best winning percentage at .650. So they are also plus 20 in the goal differential. So they lead the Central with a plus 20 goal differential. So kind of looking at that like, and I know Kyle Connor just went down with a knee injury, so he's going to be out for a few weeks. But if they can have guys like Gabe Vilardi continue to step up like this, I think they're in good hands. You got Hellebuck and net. I mean, there's no reason why they can't start to overtake that Central.
And who do we got at the top?
In the top, I mean, again, we have to be fair. And another goalie, the goalie's taken the first slot this week, and it's not a guy that you think. It is a guy I had no idea he was even starting, let alone winning 3 games over the last 3 games, a 1.6 goals against average, a .943 save percentage, leading, nobody would have guessed this, but leading the Philadelphia Flyers to a 7-1-2 heater over the last 10, Samuel Ersson. Who?
Right.
Who?
I mean,
I didn't even
Yeah.
know that he was playing.
yeah. I mean, I noticed that because Carter Hart got hurt for like a spell earlier in the season. I saw he got a couple starts. But I thought it was firmly Hart's net, and then Urson would get in just kind of sporadically. I don't know what's been going on that he's getting so many starts, but number one, does that put Carter Hart back on the trade block? That's not what we're here to talk about, but does it? And good. I mean, oh man, begrudgingly again, because you want to chirp Corey. You didn't think they had it in them. They're playing. Torts has got them playing, and maybe to their own detriment, but hot damn, them Flyers are on fire, and hot damn if it's not because Samuel Urson.
And you know what? And I don't hate saying this. I'm just not super happy about it. But I would rather Philly continue to play this way and keep Carolina out of the playoffs and potentially put the heat on the other Metro teams to get the Islanders out of the playoffs. And I would much rather see that than to see Philly tank right now. And I don't hate to say that. I don't particularly like that, because then how am I going to chirp Corey? But I can't deny, just like I can't deny Stammer trying to get his money bag. I can't deny hard freaking work. And Torts is coaching these boys up, man. I again, it's Philly and to Philly, but I can't deny hard work. I'm here for it. Keep busting butts, boys. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here for it.
It sucks because last night they hard worked their way to a win past my guys, but they're having that year that the Devs had last year. Like, nobody saw them coming, and maybe they should have, because you still have Torts behind the bench, and he's going to play him up. Like, he's going to coach them up. They're going to come out ready to play, and that sometimes is half the battle, because again, I hate to swing I'm trying not to swing it back, but that's exactly what's happening in New Jersey is they don't come out ready to play more than half the games. And that's why they're losing so many. Come out ready to play, and you can do anything. And look at this Philly team. They've played 31 games. They've got 39 points. They're only 6 back of first in the Metro. You and I both picked them to be dead last.
Yeah. And that's literally only because the Rangers just don't lose.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If the Rangers were a little bit more down to earth, I would say Philly could easily be maybe 1 point out from first right now. You know what I mean? And I mean, to that same point, like you just mentioned with your guys, the Devs, but also I think when I've watched the Devs games, when I've watched the Caps games, even because I've watched some Pens games too, depending on who they're playing, those 3 teams I just mentioned seemingly, like you mentioned, kind of the lack of kind of compete there, but they kind of play down to whoever they're playing, whereas Philly makes everybody play up to where they're at. And that's, I mean, that's the name of the game, truly. The Rangers do that. The Canucks do that. The Knights do that. And you see that in the standings. Those are all the top teams in the league right now. Like, no, you're going to play up to us because we're going to play our game. And again, that's how you win championships. This 3 stars has taken far too long, and we're almost an hour in. So we're going to get things going here because Captain's got to leave soon. Real quick, let's pull the goalie. A couple trades happened over the last week. First one is not necessarily super notable, but the Sharks get Jake Studnicka from the Vancouver Canucks for Nick Cechek and a 2024 6th-round pick. I feel like that was probably just to clear up some cap room for the Canucks to eventually make another move as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline. The Sharks get a younger guy, and the Canucks get to clear up some cap space.
Yeah, that's there's not, I don't know those names at all, so I can't say, ooh, what a brilliant move by the Sharks. But
No idea.
that's
Yeah.
got to be a cap move.
I do like this trade. The Seattle Kraken get Tomas Tatar from the Colorado Avalanche and send over a 2024 fifth round pick. I mean, is Tatar going to score you 30 goals? No, but it's good to have a veteran presence on the Kraken because woof right now in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And he did get on the board in his first game for the Kraken too. So that's a good sign as well. So I think, Colorado just got Tatar in the offseason. So again, probably just clearing up cap room, getting an asset with a fifth round pick. Again, that's going to get sent. That's going to be some trade bait too, but they're probably just clearing up cap space for the deadline. I mean, obviously the deadline's a couple months away still, but it's a preemptive move, I would say.
I'm kind of shocked because going into the season, I said Tatar was like a sneaky good move by Colorado, and maybe this is proof. Like the fact that they thought they could get something reasonable for him. But this could be a sneaky better move for Seattle. Like this is a guy that moves out there on the ice. Like he doesn't give up. Like I watched a lot of Tomas Tatar last year. I like him a lot. He is a really good player. Like you mentioned, he's not a guy who's going to light it up or nothing, but he will be a presence out there. And sometimes, again, that might just be all Seattle's lacking is somebody to just be there. And he's not going to be flashy, but he will be fast, and he will get to the puck. So I like that move a lot.
I'm just glad they did something because they haven't done anything. Like,
yeah,
they've had a crappy start to the season, and they haven't done anything about it. This is literally the first thing that they've done about anything. So I just like to see that they're not just rolling over and dying. You know what I mean? Next thing that is a solid pickup, stick taps to the PWHL for hiring Cassie Campbell Pascal as a special advisor to the PWHL, whatever that means. I'm not exactly sure what that role means, but she is a 3-time Olympic medalist with Canada's national women's hockey team and the first woman to provide color commentary on CBC's Hockey Night in Canada. Since she has been with Sportsnet, which is Canada's ESPN, essentially, for, I want to say, well over 10 years, I believe. So this is a solid pickup for the PWHL, somebody that clearly knows the game of hockey. So this, I don't know. I personally, PWHL, I would have put her on like a higher standing, like on the board to actually make decisions and pull the trigger on decisions because clearly you guys are not making decisions that are correct. Just saying. But that's a whole other conversation to have, not in the empty net.
Only thing I'll say is, still no team names, huh? Okay.
Still no team names, eh? All right. I mentioned it earlier. Sidney Crosby just hit 13th all-time in points. I mean, he has sole possession of 13th all-time. And just to put a little thought here, again, going back to when we talked earlier of how I respect Sidney Crosby's game now, he has missed so many games. He's missed, I want to say, over 2 full seasons in his career because of concussions and other injuries. Imagine if he played even half of those games where he would sit on the all-time points standings. He would, dare I say, well into the top 10. So, yeah. I mean, stick taps to you, said the kid. I mean, truly, stick taps to you.
Block.
I know. Oh, I know. The last thing I just want to say, well, first, Jaromir Jagr just got a primary assist in the Czech league at age 51, by the way. So that's Jagr still killing it. And this last thing I sent it in the Barn Chirpers Instagram at Barn Chirpers Pod. The Coachella Valley Firebirds, they're having an ugly sweater game happening on Saturday in a teddy bear toss. Their sweaters are just. Every time I see a Coachella Valley sweater by the Firebirds, I'm like, I want to take my money now. They are so good.
They start with a great color scheme. I should have looked at this before because you told me about it. Oh my God. How many notifications did I miss? There it is.
Just scroll down all the way to the bottom. Yeah.
I know, right? Why are they calling that ugly, though? That's not ugly.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
like
just
that.
no, it's not ugly at all. I'd pay
Oh, I
$200 for
see.
that right now.
I see why they're calling it a quote unquote ugly sweater, because the ugly sweater meme. Okay. I see what's going on here because
Yes, yeah, yeah,
it's
exactly,
Christmas themed. Gotcha. No, that's
exactly.
awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. That does it for the show this week, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you're listening or watching, you know how to podcast and YouTube and find shows and stuff. So do that. We would appreciate that very much. So with that said, we'll be back next week with another great show as always. So skate hard, keep your head up, and stick taps and sellies, boys. Clap it up.
Yeah.